Hi, everyone. You might know Amber Bowles from Married at First Sight. She's a middle school teacher living in North Carolina, and we're so excited to have you on today. Thank you for being here.
I'm really excited to be here too.
Yeah, I recently watched your show because it was just released on Netflix. And so it was just wild. I loved everything about it. So thanks for being on today.
Yeah, no problem. It honestly, once it got on Netflix, I feel like things got crazy.
Wow. Well, when did it go up on Netflix?
Not that long ago. I feel like after quarantine started. So, I mean, because it released between June of 2019 and September of 2019. So it was out for a while.
Yeah, and now everyone's just like, "Oh my gosh, this new show you have to watch." All my girlfriends have been talking about it, so
So fun.
yeah. Okay, but what is your favorite reality TV show? Is it this one?
I do love Married at First Sight, and I enjoy watching it. But my favorite reality show, I love, I love cooking shows. Does that count as reality TV?
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's great.
obsessed with cooking shows. I love anything with Guy Fieri. He's like my favorite.
Gosh, he's so great. I wish I could cook. Are you a good chef then?
um, I'll cook things. I'm good at preparing food, but I'm not necessarily like a chef.
That's awesome. What would be your favorite thing to try to prepare?
I love making tacos and like doing weird spins on tacos. I recently made these salmon tacos that were so good. Yeah. And I made this side of it's like cucumber and orange salad.
Huh,
It was so weird, but so good.
that sounds like really refreshing during the summertime.
Yep. So it was delicious.
Oh, that's great. So are you still living in Charlotte? Are you still in North Carolina?
Yeah, I live like almost in uptown. So,
Oh, okay. What's
yep.
your favorite part about Charlotte?
Okay, so Charlotte is just the best city because it's a small, big city. So I feel like I run into the same people a lot, and I've gotten to know a
Huh.
lot of. It's strange. Like I feel like I know everyone in Charlotte, but then there's still people to meet. New places are popping up on every corner because Charlotte's growing so much. I grew up in this area, and 10 years ago there was nothing, and now Charlotte has like all these breweries, like all these bars and restaurants. So it's fun because there's always something new to try.
Oh, that's really cool. Do you have a favorite restaurant that, if we go to Charlotte, we should hit up this one?
There's a few, honestly. One of them is Bakersfield. They have the best tacos and they have the best margarita in Charlotte. Um,
Okay.
like the best margarita you'll ever have. And then like just you got to go there for margaritas. What else? There's just a lot of great places in Charlotte. I can't even think of
Huh.
um any other ones that I go to more regular. Oh, I go to this bar called the Union, and
Union.
they always have great drink specials. But it's definitely a bar, not food.
Huh. Okay, I'll have to hit it up when I can travel again after COVID.
I know, I'm never gonna travel again.
Oh my gosh. What have you been doing during quarantine?
So I've been working. I'm teaching at a new school next year, and my class actually is going to be a different type of class. I used to teach English, but I'll be doing a literacy class. So I've been working on my curriculum for my new class. So I've been doing a lot of work on that. And then I've just been going to the pool a lot because I love
Oh,
being
wow.
outdoors, and I've just been trying to avoid people.
Yeah. I know. It's so crazy right now. Are you guys transitioning to teaching online as well? Like with the
Well,
literacy and
we just got word from our governor that we'll be going back at least part-time. So, I mean, we're preparing for kids. Like, we'll be having kids in August.
oh my gosh. Wow.
Scary.
That sounds really scary. Do they have things in place to keep all of you safe?
I mean, we just don't have the budget. I don't think people understand is we barely have the budget for what we do clean now. And we get a lot of complaints that our school buildings are not clean. But I mean, we just don't even have the budget for that. So I can't imagine. I mean,
Wow.
teachers are going to be, they already told us we're going to be responsible for cleaning our own rooms and making sure that they are like sanitized. I
That's so
mean, that's not in my
expensive.
job description.
Yeah. That's like almost unaffordable.
And I mean, like, I got my master's degree in education, not in sanitation. So like, I know nothing about how it should be sanitized. Like, I just don't even know.
Wow. What a weird world we're living in.
Yep.
Oh my
really
God.
strange, especially in the South.
Huh. Yeah. Are people wearing masks in Charlotte?
Not where I live. I live in Uptown where a lot of young people live here. So, I mean, I'm old, so I don't go out that much, but I'll look out my window and there's a bar, like a big, like beer garden across the street, and
Mhm.
people are just standing in line with no mask, even though they have to wear one inside. But
Wow. I'm
so,
from New York City, so it's prevalent here, and everyone is wearing a mask because everyone knows someone who's been affected.
right.
Um, it's just insane. Um, can you talk about Married at First Sight? So, did you watch the show before you went on? Were you their audience?
Yeah, so I actually watched it on Hulu before I went on. I watched seasons 4 through 6, and I fell in love with the idea once I watched. Because season 4, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Season 5, I watched it, and I fell in love with Ashley and Anthony's story.
Mm.
And they had like such a love story, and like it just to me, it looked like both people were putting in an equal amount of effort. So I was like, wow, Married at First Sight really works when each person is putting in their 100%,
Mm.
if each person wants it and is willing to work for it.
Yeah.
And so that's what made me fall in love with the idea of going on Married at First Sight, because it really can work. It just takes work from both people.
Mhm. How did you find out about the auditions and about them coming to Charlotte?
So my best friend, she's like super. She just stays up on everything that happens in Charlotte, and she texted me and Raven, my best friend, and we're really close. We went to like elementary, middle school together, and so she texted us in a group message and was like, "You both need to try out for Married at First Sight." So we're like, "Well, one of us, we'll just both apply and see what happens." So Raven and I applied together, and we did the applications. Yeah, I mean, and I just both of us were like, there's no chance we'll even get called back. Like, there's no
Wow.
chance. And somehow he and I both made it to like the end process.
That's amazing. Yeah, what was that audition like? What kind of questions did they ask?
So it so it starts with, I don't know why anyone would wait. Like, who would go on this show? It's so much work. Who would go on this show for not love? I don't get it.
Uh,
So it starts with a 61 question questionnaire, and that's everyone takes that, and it's like that's kind of how they start to weed out like who they might consider. And then you go have a Skype interview with one of the producers or like one of the field producers, and then you after you do a Skype interview, they have someone call you, and they do these workshops, and you show up to these workshops and you do all these psych evaluations. You end up doing like a 300, so once you make it past a Skype interview, you do a 350 question survey. It took me 7 hours, and it's like essay
wow.
questions, like literally asking you about how you feel about sex, children, money,
Mhm.
relationships, parents, like family, like
Wow.
ask you about like you. I spent so much time. I was like, no guy would waste their time doing this if they didn't want to get married. So that was where my mind was at, because it
Yeah.
really is the longest process, and you do multiple psych evaluations, background checks, like it's intense.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a lot of time, and like they're really trying to like figure out the personalities and put you guys together.
And it's about like how you're, so for them it's like how do your values line up. So if I value family, they want to find someone who values family. If I value, like if I'm budget, some people are more loose with spending, some people are more tight with spending. So
Mhm.
they try to like, so there's 8 areas that they try to match you on, and they try to make sure your values at least align. Or you can like, sometimes they do like the opposites attract thing. Like if say I'm lacking in the family area like Matt was, then
Oh,
they'll match me with someone who is strong in the family area. So they're like, in certain areas they're looking for someone to complement you, in certain areas they're looking for someone to like support you, you know.
interesting.
But it's
Yeah.
really like a lot of work. I mean, this show is not for the faint of heart. So that's why I always am so surprised when we have these people on the show for like fame. I'm like, this is such a process.
Yeah, they had to really work hard to get on this show.
Right. Why would you waste,
Yeah.
like, why would you waste your own time and much less someone else's time, you know?
Waste that opportunity of falling in love.
Right. And
Yeah.
like, Matt and I end up having a talk where he basically ended up saying like he doesn't even believe in the concept of love. Like, yeah, like he doesn't believe you can love someone, and I'm
Why
just like,
are they on this show?
yeah. I mean, I think he regrets doing it. Oh.
This makes no sense. I'm so sorry for what you went through.
I mean, it's okay now. I think I needed that. Like, it was truly like a learning experience, and I needed that to get to the point where I am now. So I'm kind of like, I think I would do it again, even though it was 8 weeks of hell. It was like 8 weeks of hell that like truly shaped who I am now, and I like who I am now a lot more than who I was last year.
Wow. And then for everyone who's listening who hasn't watched Married at First Sight, so Amber Bowles was one of the people chosen to be married on the show to Matt. What is his last name?
When
Okay, Matt Gwen, and he just didn't have his heart in it. We were just talking about that, and he ended up not even honoring the marriage. And but Amber, you put your heart and soul into it. We all saw it and watched, and we're rooting for you on Netflix and on Lifetime when it first aired. Can you talk about like the response the audience had after the show aired?
it was wild to me how many people related to my story, because you know, you think when you're in this, you're like, I'm alone, like no one ever like will understand how I'm feeling. But it's crazy how many women and men have dated a Matt. Like, everyone's dated their version of a Matt, and Matt like is the type of person you date and you learn more about yourself. So I mean, and that's like a positive thing. It sucks that you had to go through it, because he is very selfish. Sorry, my dog is like, wait, Lenny. My dog
Oh, I see him. Okay.
Hi, babies. I know. Come here. I'm sorry. Sorry, baby. I was trying to pick him up, and I accidentally squeezed his arm.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Wait,
Sorry.
raise him up, please.
Yeah, hi.
There you are.
Yes. I wonder why, like, when I picked him up, he screamed. I'm a little worried about him.
He's so cute.
He's
Oh
literally
my
the
gosh.
cutest little puppy ever, but gosh, he has like a little Energizer bunny rabbit. Like, Lenny, can you relax, baby? Come here.
Come back.
I'm just gonna steal his toy from him, so he's got it. We get it. All right. Hi, cutie. No. Okay. So where was the question? We can start over.
So I was asking you like
The audience.
about the audience and what they thought when the show was airing, because I think a lot of people were just so drawn to you and Matt and like your story. Like everyone on your season had such a powerful love story, and like for us, we were just watching yours as it slowly unfurled. Can you talk a little bit about the audience?
Yeah. So for me, it was strange because I felt in the moment when it was filming, I felt so alone. But on the last day of filming, I even remember a producer or a video. One of the camera guys pulled me aside, and he was like, just so you know, I've watched you these last 8 weeks. He's like, and I could relate to and this was a guy. He's like, I could relate to your experience so well. He said, everyone dates a Matt, and after the show and people started reaching out to me, it seems like everyone has had their experience with a Matt, if not like, with not Matt. But it just feels like I was not as alone as I thought I was. So that was really nice to hear. And like knowing that all these people, there's a lot of people who've messaged me, and they're like, because I watched you ask for a divorce on decision day, I felt empowered to leave my toxic relationship.
Wow.
I mean, because it's like people are watching their relationships unfold on TV. Like if you think about it, like my relationship is like a lot of people's relationships right now, and it's toxic, and they need to get out. But sometimes it's hard to get out when you're inside it and you can't see it. It's hard to leave it. But when you can start to see it, you're like, wow, this is super toxic. I need to leave. And I think it took me at least, I would say, after talking with Dr. Viviana, I was ready to be done with Matt.
Oh, wow.
Before week 5, when we had our recommitment. But I decided to give it a shot because I'm just not a quitter, and I just didn't want to regret leaving it too early. I mean, that was probably a mistake on my part, but at least I know that I gave it my 100% the whole time.
Yeah, we saw you working for it. We saw you working hard and like always trying to form a connection. So it was really inspiring to like all of us watching. And can you talk about what's happening now? Are you officially divorced? I know in North Carolina you have to wait a year and a day to be like separated.
Yeah, you do. I'm working on it. Matt is really slowing the process of getting this divorce. So unfortunately, even with I'm getting an absolute divorce now. So Matt never signed the previous separation documents, and I sent them to him 3 times, and he never signed any of them. And he had them since September of 2019. Like as soon as the show finished airing, I mailed them to him, and now we're in July of 2020. He still never signed anything. With the absolute divorce, he has to somehow acknowledge that he knows what's going on, and we have to give him a period of time where he can, like, I guess, say no, he doesn't want a divorce, which I don't think he's going to do. But he's yet to acknowledge he's even gotten the absolute divorce papers. He just has to. It's like a certified mail. I think he just has to like receive the mail, and
Okay.
but he hasn't even received the mail because he doesn't have a consistent home address.
Oh my gosh.
So it took me like a couple months to even get an address for him because I think his friend where he was living moved. So yeah, it's just been really frustrating working through this divorce because he did nothing in the marriage and he did nothing in the divorce. Like he's truly like wasted so much of my time, and it's really frustrating.
And money. Are you paying those legal expenses or?
No, luckily the show is paying for it, but we're getting to the end of our budget because they keep having to like spend more and more money on this divorce. So
Wow.
we're getting close to the end of our budget, and I mean, like that's gonna be on Matt. Like I'm not gonna pay it. If he
Yeah.
wants to get divorced, he can pay it.
Wow. That's insane. But I'm so glad the show is able to help you.
Right, they are. Thank God.
Yeah. And you also had some like powerhouse women on your season. Are you still in contact with all of them?
Yes. So I talk to Beth and Iris the most. Deanna's just super busy with work and everything. And I
Yeah.
still talk to Deanna. We talk a lot in a group message.
Oh, cool.
We're all really close. And like, I mean, we went through a shared experience and together. So it just like brought us like so much closer. No, there's only 3 people on this earth who understand what we went through, you know?
Yeah.
And from a woman from Charlotte, like on our season who lived the exact same experiences, like it's just us 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And what have you learned from each of them? They're all such different personalities.
Okay, so Deanna is just I feel like her and Greg have the perfect relationship. So just a lot of like relationship goals there. You can learn how to like I feel like she did a perfect job of being like playing hard to get, but not too hard to get. You know, like her and Greg just did it right. Beth, all about self-empowerment. She is like so inspiring because she just knows who she is, and um she knows who she is. There's no like changing that. And I kind of feel like same with Iris, like the way she handled her divorce with Keith and the way she handled the breakup. I mean, I was hurting for her because she obviously didn't want a divorce, but Keith asked for that on decision day. Just seeing how she handled it with grace, I just learned so much from her.
That's wonderful. And what have you been up to since the show? It's been a while now. Like now we're in quarantine, but what's life look like?
I'm still teaching and I love it. I think that's like the number one question I get is like, are you still teaching? Yeah, because I can't imagine doing anything else. Like,
Oh,
I
that's
love to
fun.
talk, and kids luckily are fun to talk to. Um, and I just love talking about books. So, I mean, what a better place is that than in an English classroom, you know? Um,
What have you
and
read recently?
so right now I'm reading Inherent Vice, which I do not recommend. It's
Okay.
crazy. Like, so it was written like not that long ago, but it's set back in like the 1969, 1970. It's like,
Huh.
and it's like this guy, the main character is a private detective, but he's always like doing these drugs. So it's like really hard to understand. I mean, it's good. It's just like, you're like, wow, is this real or not? Because you're always
Right.
questioning, like, what is this reality or is this not his reality? So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Um,
Cool.
but I also read The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, and that was so inspirational
Huh.
recently. That was a really good one. And then what else have I read over quarantine? I've been reading some teacher books. Oh, and I've been reading Dare, which is a book about anxiety. Just with COVID going on, like, it's
We
just
all
hard to
need
be
that.
anxious. Yeah, like
Yeah.
every time I step outside, I'm like, COVID, you know. So I've
Yeah.
been reading some stuff like about anxiety and just trying to like work on that.
That's a great idea. Yeah. And you have your own place. Are you still in there? Your studio and your puppy?
So I actually moved out of the studio. So my best friend, another, I have two guy best friends. So my other guy best friend, his name's Bobby. He was looking for, so we lived together for a year and a half, and then I moved out, got my own studio, and he was looking to move, and he moved to my complex and got a 2-bedroom. So I ended up moving with him.
Oh, perfect.
Right. Just, we were already roommates for a year and a half. It's just so easy. And it's not, honestly, I'm an extrovert, so I get so tired of being home alone all the time. So I think that's why and I'm living in a 1,200 square foot apartment versus the
Wow.
500 square foot studio, which is so nice. Like, I felt like I did not have room in that studio.
Oh my gosh, Amber, I'm in a 500 square foot 1-bedroom in New York.
I hate it. Ugh. Like, I love it, but hey, I loved it because it's easy to clean, but it's,
Yeah.
I would get bored a lot. I'd be like, okay, so it's like Saturday morning and I'm doing nothing.
Yeah, especially during quarantine, I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And so now, at least with my apartment, I can I have a little workout space and I can do a lot more, which is nice.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. That must be so good to have your best friend like with you during COVID.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine living alone right now. Ugh,
Yeah, just horrible.
that would be horrible.
Yeah. And something that we always ask on this podcast is, what does womanhood mean to you? It can be like anything that comes to your head right now. I know it's like a definition that's probably constantly shifting and changing, but what is it right now?
I really love that question, actually. So for me, womanhood, I feel like women are just so powerful, and we embody growth because we grow, babies inside us, and we grow. I feel like every stage of life, women have this moment of growth that I don't know that men always have. We're just so introspective in ways that I think men can be introspective, but we have this growth in us. I feel like every year of my life, I can pinpoint a moment and say, I grew here. So womanhood to me is just growth and love and power, all wrapped into one. It's
Oh,
very beautiful to me.
yeah, I think that's really lovely. I love that idea of growth, and I'm curious how we'll all grow together during this experience that we're living through right now.
Yes, because we have such a shared experience that, there's no other time in our lives that we've ever experienced anything like this. So it's such a strange, crazy time.
Yeah, it's almost like what you were saying, like the shared experience of 4 women from Charlotte getting married at first sight. But now it's like the whole world is sharing
Whole world.
this one thing.
New
As if it was marriage.
New Zealand following the rules, so I wish I was in New Zealand right now. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah. They have no COVID cases now because yeah.
Wow. I just saw an article that said the Prime Minister of Barbados is saying that you can live there up to a year now and just work from home in Barbados. And I'm like, gotta buy a flight. I hate New York now. Bye.
I know. I can't imagine being in New York right now because I know they're pretty strict.
Yeah, it's pretty strict, but it also feels a lot safer than it did. I mean, it was horrible, but everyone is taking it really seriously, which is the good part about it.
You need the South to follow suit.
Yeah, come on.
The South. I'm up here. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Another question that we like to ask on this is if you had any piece of advice for a woman that you just met on the street, what would you tell them about anything?
I would give the advice to myself last year. So it's your life does not need to be on a timeline. So you see, it's so easy to look around you and say oh, at this age I should be having this type of career. At this age I should be married. At this age I should have kids. And it's really easy to get caught up in the timeline and not in the journey. So enjoy every moment regardless of your timeline. You don't need a timeline. You just need to enjoy every moment.
That's great. I really need to think more about that.
I'm horrible about wanting to be on a timeline. I think that's why I rushed and got married on national TV.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to everyone in my family is married by 26, have kids by 28, and I'm just not on that timeline. I'm just not. And that's so beautiful and okay in itself too,
Yeah, I think that's great. Come up to New York. We have no timeline.
I love it. I know.
We're super old up here.
I plan on being old, and I don't. If I have kids, I have them. If I don't, I don't. It's honestly at this point, I don't really want to have kids because it's kind of fun not having them.
Yeah. Can you talk about what's next for you? Do you see love on the horizon?
Well, I am. So I have a boyfriend.
Ooh.
Dating for almost 6 months now, or we're between 5 and 6 months. And he's just great. He actually has 2 daughters, so like,
Oh,
yeah, and he's just a great. He's such a kind soul. So I love just being around him. And so for my future, I just hope I continue can grow. We can grow together. That's scary. So
awesome.
in the future, I want to grow with him, and then hopefully, I'm thinking about buying my own house. Like that's the next big adventure of my life.
Amazing.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It just, once COVID started, I was like, you know what would be really nice right now, like having a backyard
Yeah.
and no one in it. Like
Yes, please.
that's why I think I'm pushing. So that's where I see myself in the next 6 months, like kind of like starting to be independent and moving
Wow.
out on my own again. We'll see how
That's
it goes.
amazing. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to add to our listeners?
Um, I love being here, and I've enjoyed talking to you. So, whenever you want, like, if you have anything you ever want to talk about again, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amber, for being on.
Yeah, always. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was like very much like fangirling when you like DM'd me on Instagram because I was like, I'll just try it. But
Well, I
thank
was
you.
excited because I love to listen to podcasts. So I don't know if that I'm very good at them, but
Oh, this was awesome. I can't wait to like listen to this one.
I'm definitely going to. And I loved I felt like it was all about women. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
feminist.
let's
So,
empower some girls.
oh yeah, I mean, like our world is set up to empower men. Let's empower women.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Definitely.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amber.
Yep. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.